conversation is all about new partnerships and exciting new technologies, and I'm joined by two very interesting gentlemen. So we've got Gareth Evans, Director of Strategy and Business Development for Haas, and David Crombie, Regional Director for Acetech. So Gareth, can you tell us in a nutshell, what is Haas all about?
So we are a safety company. Essentially what we do, we connect emergency service vehicles to members of the public. And we do that by going directly into vehicles. So when an emergency vehicle has its blue lights on or is responding, we send information directly to the driver themselves. So that is through navigation systems such as Waze and Apple Maps, but then also directly into the native car systems as well. So imagine you are driving down the road, you have no idea there's an ambulance behind you, and then you get a message that comes into your vehicle directly that says, warning, there's an emergency vehicle behind you. So the premise is to help first responders, first of all, stay safe, whether on the side of the road or trying to get through traffic, but then also to help efficiency. If I know as a driver there's a vehicle trying to get through or get past, I can be more responsive and start to make those early maneuvers sooner.
And David, tell us about Acetech.
Yeah, we're Acetech. We're based in Ireland. We're coming up on our 20th year anniversary. And our big business and vision is safety and sustainability. So it aligns really, really well with what Haas and what Gareth is trying to achieve. We look at connecting everything inside the ambulance and first responder vehicles. And again, our systems connect everything from the front to the back of the vehicle. And what we're always trying to do is make it safer. So looking at how fast they're going, see if there's areas where we can reduce the risk and so on. So again, this partnership with Haas just adds another layer to our safety portfolio. So really, really happy to be here.
And you've made an exciting announcement. Come on, tell us everything.
We have. So very happy to announce that we've gone live with our first emergency service entire fleet. So with a partnership with Acetech, we are now going live with South East Coast Ambulance Service. So it's a very big step for Haas into the European arena, as it were. So we are very large in the US, very well known. So we've only been live and operational in Europe for around about 12 months. So to achieve this in such a small space of time has been fantastic, and it's a really testament to the partnership that we've started with Acetech over in the United States, and we've brought it over to Europe.
Oh, great. So you've been working together a lot over in the States, okay, coming over to Europe now. So can you tell us what some of the problems that having Haas Alert in emergency services, what kind of challenges does that solve?
So the challenge is always for any emergency service personnel, first of all, if they're at the side of the road, if you are, more so I'd say for the fire service and the police forces, being at the side of the road, there's an inherent danger straight away. Whether you're helping someone at a traffic stop, whether you're helping at an RTC at the side of the road, or maybe you're the first there, having that advanced warning to drivers to say, hey, watch out, there's something ahead. Imagine you're on an A road and you're going around a corner at 40 miles an hour. Just to get that notification into your car that 30 seconds in advance to say, hey, warning, there's something up ahead. We use that terminology to try and help break that distracted driving. So not that you should be, but don't be looking at your phone, put your coffee down, stop shouting at the kids in the back. Eyes are focused on the road. So we add that level of safety to the responders. The other challenge is the efficiency of trying to get to a response. I think everyone has seen a situation whereby there's been an ambulance trying to get through a traffic jam, and there's no fault of the driver. That might be a quarter of a mile down the road. They have no idea someone's trying to get through. So again, if they can get a notification to a certain percentage of drivers to start moving out the way, they can get there quicker as well. But ultimately, it comes down to safety for the emergency service, safety for general road users, but then there is that big efficiency play. The other challenge is, every emergency service will always have a proportion of their fleet which is out of service. And a lot of that is general maintenance. A lot of that is because they've been collided with. So there's also a huge cost implication of them being off the road. So yes, we need as many ambulances on the road as possible at all times to make sure they can get the responses. But taking a step back, there's a severe cost impact when a vehicle is hit. And it doesn't have to be a major collision. A little side swipe and a bumper comes off. That is a vehicle out of action that can't go to an emergency response.
And we're talking a lot about sort of partnerships here. So can you tell us in a bit more detail kind of about the Acetech Haas Alert partnership, David?
Yeah, for sure. So I think following up on what you were saying there, Gareth, the emergency service industry VOR is a huge problem. The amount of vehicles off the road and the capacity of the private services to be able to bring more vehicles in is a challenge. So when Gareth talks about VOR and cost of a vehicle being off the road, it's actually more the problem with that vehicle not being available to the public to provide a service. And that's a huge problem. So minimising that is hugely important. I suppose just going back to your point, we've been working with CCAM about 15 years. And when we got talking to Gareth and Haas about this, it was a no-brainer for us to include this safety alert in our systems. Again, it's another layer of alerting earlier and in addition to the sirens and warning lights that's already there. So again, everybody's using some sort of navigation system in their vehicles, whether it's Apple, Waze, Google Maps, whatever. So it makes total sense. Why don't we alert those motorists that there's something up ahead as early and as soon as possible? So it's just, again, makes total sense. And again, really happy to be doing this. Yeah.
And then sort of following your announcement, it's a 1-year pilot scheme, is that correct? Yeah. So how will you measure success there?
So there's a few metrics. So first and foremost, we can start to look at the data directly from CCAM themselves. Are they seeing a reduction in any collisions? Are they seeing those improvements in response times? So that starts to come quite binary. We can really start to look at those figures over the next year. What we're also able to provide from Haas Alert, we can start to give a view of the number of alerts that drivers are reaching. So if we think, so right now as we speak, we're live in Apple Maps and Waze. So instantly they're going to be able to reach tens of thousands of drivers instantly as soon as it's activated. Then we're starting to see the car manufacturers start to switch on that connected services in their vehicles as well. So in the United States, we're close to around about 3.5 million Stellantis vehicles that are live and operational in the United States. And now we're starting to see not only the adoption, but the actual turning on of those vehicles in the UK as well. And that's just one car manufacturer I can speak of, but there's many that we're working with that I can't at the moment. So that's an exciting time. So over the next 12 months, not only can we start to look at those types of metrics, but we can also start to feedback and get the car manufacturers to turn this technology on in their vehicles as well. And then the other side of this is also then looking at the additional partners. So if you think of once these vehicles are connected to the Haas Alert Safety Cloud, that then starts to open up the doors for other types of connectivity. So can we bring partners on board in the region of CCAM for traffic lights to look at green light and red light signal prioritization? Can we work with national highways to work with the infrastructure at the side of the road? Think of a perfect world where an ambulance is just about to join a motorway and all the signs change that say, hey, there's an ambulance coming, please move over. And as soon as the ambulance goes past, that comes back. I'm not saying that can be done right now, but the partnership and the technology and the data is now available to be able to do that. So as well as looking at those binary metrics, is then what other partnerships can we bring in to actually help the emergency services as well?
And so after that pilot year, what do you hope will happen next?
Well, from our perspective, our goal is to have everything with a blue and amber light on in the country connected to Safety Cloud. Our job from Haas Alert is to keep emergency services safe. It's to and help improve efficiency. But specifically for CCAM, obviously we want to see that adoption over a long term. And I think for me, success is also those partners. How are we also then connecting that the ambulances and the fleets to other emergency services? Can we get them connected to the police forces and the fire and rescue services in that region as well? Can they be the catalyst for that wider adoption as well?
And David, what are you most excited about for Ace Tech over the next year or so?
Again, our big thing is working with partners, collaborating and then trying to provide a better service for our clients that we serve. Again, instead of trying to do everything ourselves, it's very important for us. We're collecting a huge amount of data from vehicles. We integrate that and work with other partners, whether that's BI tools or own BI systems as well. But again, working with Haas, it's working with partners, then working with an innovative service that wants to drive change. When you've got those three factors working together, it's very, very powerful. And again, but you have to want to work together. Yeah. And again, our visions clearly align, and it just makes it a lot easier for us to work on that.
We have the mantra at Haas that no one can do safety on their own, and it's a testament to the partnership, and also for CCAM, there's not one person that can come in and solve the problems and the challenges of road safety, of collisions on the roadway, of the safety of emergency service personnel. No one can do that on their own, so yeah, it's about bringing people together in that partnership.
And Gareth, you were on a webinar recently with Emergency Services Times, and you were talking with NFCC lead Dan Quinn. He's a big fan of Haas Alert. Yep. So what's the plan with the other blue lights?
So it's things I can and can't talk about, I think. But I think especially with Surrey and with Dan, we're pulling out all the stops to try and get some activations by the end of the year. And that's another great example whereby they already work with a service provider. So from a Haas Alert perspective, how can we already connect with those vehicles versus putting our own hardware in? It's more about your vehicle's already connected. How can we enhance that connectivity and enhance that safety? But we're having conversations now with multiple agencies across the UK, in Ireland, and the rest of Europe now as well. So confident by the end of the year that we'll have a good presence across the UK. And we've got plenty more opportunities with Ace Tech as well, both in the UK and other countries as well.
We'll watch this space. And so where can people find you at the Emergency Services Show? And who do you think should pop by and see you?
So we're on booth 212. I think anyone that is just interested in new technology and looking at how they can keep emergency services safe and improve what we call response efficiency. We're very candid and open in what we say. We've been live in the UK for just 12 months. And I always use the saying, there's 90% of people that would love to know who we are, probably still don't know that we exist. So for us, come over, come and see us. We have one of our co-founders on the booth as well from the United States. So for us, it's come over. We've got some sweets. Have a coffee. Have some Haribo, and we can have a chat about Haas Alert.
Hear what you're all about.
Exactly.
And why is the Emergency Services Show? Why is it a special date in the calendar for you both?
I think you just need to look around. What a fantastic room to be in. Not only have you got like-minded suppliers, but yesterday alone, we spent nearly 8 hours on the booth, and it was just conversation after conversation, and the response that we're getting in terms of this, it's great to hear, because the response that we're getting is, oh, why has this not existed for years? So it's great to see that. So for us, having the right people in the room, really being able to showcase what we do to as many emergency services as possible. But then, like I said, with like-minded suppliers as well, it's great to walk around the room, and there's so much innovation and also that drive for adoption to improvement as well. And you can see that across the room.
And David, have you found it to be quite sort of an inspirational sort of space to be in?
Yeah, we've been here a good few years. I think this is our 5th year at the Emergency Services Show. And I'll have to get in our plug that we're in stand C222, just around the corner from Gareth. We've got a team of our technical experts and our account manager, but we don't have salespeople on our system. We don't sell our systems. We have, as you said, the great thing here is have good conversations. We talk about what we do, and it generally aligns really, really well with the problems the services are trying to solve. And again, we bring our technical people to the forefront. We let them have the technical conversations with the technical people. And then at the leadership level, we've got our CEO and our business development people there as well. So I think from the Emergency Services Show, the mix of people that's here is fantastic. You've got the decision makers, you've got the frontline people. You got to bring all of those people on the journey with you, right? We're looking at some fatigue monitoring systems as well, looking at actually the drivers and making sure that they're safe. That they're not being overworked and that they're safe in their vehicles. But it's important that we understand their experience. We understand the experience of the patient. We understand the experience of the public. And how do we communicate that and bring them on the journey with us is hugely important. So it's just great. We can get a mix and get some feedback on where we're going on this at this type of a show. So really, really, really fantastic show. Yeah.
Well, David, Gareth, it's been wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a million.
Yeah.